Hey everybody! Okay, so I had a lot of requests off of a picture that I had posted the other day of what products I was using, how I did it, what I did, and it was really a super natural look, which I love because, not every day is glitz and glam. It's, mom life, work life. We are busy people and sometimes we just don't want to be all that dressed up or overdone. We just want to look very natural, very simple. Sometimes simple is best, right? So I said that I will actually do a video of what I did. I'll redo the look for y'all. So first thing that I used was our VFX Pro Primer. So this is the one I used that day. With your primer, if you're noticing that your makeup is not coming out necessarily how you want it, one thing that you can check that you're doing is that you are allowing your primer to dry. So I actually applied my primer prior to this video so that I made sure it was completely dry, because if not, what happens is you are putting your foundation on basically a wet surface and the two products are going to mix and blend. We want that primer to be a barrier, so we want that barrier dry so that it's not mixing and making like a concoction. We want it to serve its purpose, so the two products need to be separate. Let your primer dry. So maybe check and see if that is one of the things you're doing. So I'm going to be using our CC Cream in the shade Light. Your girl is still pale. High hopes for summer. I'm still waiting. And I probably got too much. I always get too much. It does not take a lot. So I throw it on my blending bud, and then I just kind of swipe it over the main areas, and then I start blending. Now, when I blend, a lot of people just want to kind of swirl and just run it all over. What I'm actually doing is more of a patting as I go motion. So I'll look kind of crazy at first, but just go with it. I will say that the foundation, the CC Cream, does oxidize a little bit. So once it sets, air hits it, all those things, it will blend in with your skin shade a lot more. So just kind of work it around. And like I said, I'm patting it in as I go and not just kind of swirling it in everywhere. And we want to make sure I kind of swipe back over my ears. You want to come down your chin. Don't leave just that line. Make sure everything is covered. And make all kinds of crazy faces, because that's what we do. And you want to make sure you pat it in. I always try to get it in really good around my nose. I know that that is one of my trouble areas, is my nose. And so you just keep working it. And I did get a little bit much, but that's okay. You just keep working it. Blending it, patting it. I will say that I spend probably more time than the average person probably does blending my foundation. That to me is a secret, okay? That's like some secret sauce right there, I'm telling y'all. Take the time, because if you don't get the base right, if you don't get your primer and your foundation right, it doesn't matter everything else that you do, right? You're still putting it on top of something that's not a good foundation, not a good base. So make sure you get your foundation on and you get it blended really well. That is what is going to change how your makeup looks and how it sits. And notice that I'm patting it all the way through with this beauty blender. I feel like I get a lot better coverage. I've used a brush before. I do not use my hands because I'm a germaphobe. And I wash and throw away my beauty blenders a lot. So I'm just patting everything, making sure it's blended. I'm telling you, I take a lot of time doing this. When I'm not on a camera, I do it a lot faster, but I kind of look like I'm beating myself up. So let's slow it down for y'all, so everybody's like, what are y'all doing to your face? Like, no. We're just patting it in. Make sure you get on up in your hairline. We don't want a line up there either. There you go, look. But look how good that looks. And like, I know that this is my trouble area, so that's where I'm gonna make sure that I get really well. So this next thing I did is our pressed powder in Cool Light. It's a tinted powder. Instead of using just a translucent setting powder, this is what I have been using. Gives me a little extra color, a little extra coverage. I'm going to take a fluffy brush, swirl it around in there, and then I'm going to pat it on. And the reason that I'm patting it in is because I've already put my foundation where I want it to go. So if I come in here and I'm just swirling, 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 I'm disrupting that foundation. I want to set it in place. I don't want it to move. So I'm going to pat it. But I'm not caking it on because I'm not using this as a foundation. I'm just using it for a little extra coverage and to set this foundation into place. Anytime you put a liquid on, you want to set it with a powder. That's going to increase the life of your foundation for that day. It's going to keep it from moving, from slipping, from sliding, from transferring. And I do go over my eyelids to set all of that because I've used the CC on them as well to blend out. I have a lot of veins on my eyelids and up in my brow. So I use the CC cream to cover that as well and to set it with the powder. All right, so then we have this great thing. It's called our Sculpting Palette. And what you do is it comes in a compact, has a mirror up top, but then it comes with 3 shades. So you have a lighter shade to highlight with, and then you get 2 shades here to contour with. So I'm going to take my brush, and for my forehead, like across here, I mix these 2 together. When I'm doing my cheeks, I use the darker one. So I just kind of dip into them both and kind of go back and forth a little bit. And I run it across the forehead. I didn't do a really dark coat. And you just want to kind of make sure that you pack it kind of back into your hairline a little bit. But it just breaks it up just a little. And then I come in, I catch that darker color, and I come in right here in my jawline. And I always start with a little and then I kind of build it up. So if I need more, I go with more because it's easier to add than to take away, right? I take the lighter brown color and I use it to run along my nose, under my lip. We're not doing a heavy contour. We just want some contrast. And then I just kind of blend everything together. You can go darker with this palette if you want, but I like that I can control it so I don't have to go as dark. Then I took our Fresh Peach blush. That's what it is. So it's got the peachy tones, a little hint of pink in it, but it's not going to be a pinky pink. So it's going to add a little bit of color, but it's not going to stand out. It's not going to be like, you're not going to look like, you know, straight hooker heading out the door. It's just a little tint. Dip my blush brush. And these blushes go on for days. So I have just barely caught the rim of this pan. And it is still kicking. I'd say Fresh Peach and Rose Jam are my 2 favorite blushes that we have. They're kind of polar opposites, but some days I want to be the like Barbie girl with the pink, and then other days I just want to be simple and natural. And I don't want to look like I'm overly made up. All right, and we've got to do our brows. Keep in mind, These are quarantine brows that don't know what they're doing. They have a mind of their own. They are their own beings right now. Really. I'm actually using a little bit darker one, especially as my hair has been doing its thing. Mama needs a dye job. So this is our light brown in the brow powder. I'm taking a very, very fine brush. I'm going to kind of catch the bottom here. And I'm basically just drawing my line in like what I want. And then I kind of go in and feel back. And I just fill in what I have. My shape is terrible. I tried to mess with them and I messed them up. So I told my hairdresser, I'm like, don't shoot me when you see what I did to my brows. Like, I'll leave my hair alone, but I screwed my brows up. And I need help. So you just fill in what you got and keep going. And just fill it in. And they don't have to be absolutely perfect, right? This is not a chiseled look. All right, so quick and easy brows. And so All Natural was my lip color. It's like a basic nude color. This is our matte liquid lipstick. So that means it goes on matte, it dries, it does not transfer, it doesn't move, doesn't budge, anything till you get ready to take it off. And I love these because I don't have to think about them. I'll tell you, I do have foundation on my lips from where I put it on, but that actually will help keep the lipstick in place. So don't feel like you have to wipe it off. The only time you would need to wipe off the foundation to have like bare lips is if you're using a stain. If you use a lip stain, you want bare lips. If you're not, having the foundation left over or even the primer, you know, as you're putting your primer on, go over your lips, it will help your lipstick stay. But it's a little bit of a dark pink, mauve-y, nudish brown color, but it looks good on everybody. It's just a simple, basic look. And there you go. Easy peasy. Anybody can do it, I promise you. All of the products that I used, you can find on my website at heathertaylormakeup.com. If you want to get in on the deals of these, you can actually get 20% off when you sign up to be an influencer. No fees, no cancellation fees, free website, like all the jazz that comes with that. If you have any questions, just let me know.